It's time for us to really have that conversation, America. Our education system is failing, and this is proof. These people just do not get it. Trump's Border Czar, Tom Homan, just delivered some very bad news after Chicago mayor goes off the deep end to harbor illegal aliens. What? Now, here, this is his response. Brandon Johnson, that is, when he's questioned about why he couldn't do what Tom Homan did in just a day.
Tom Homan showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
Because that's their job. That is their job. The federal government.
It's not your job to protect your people?
It's not to keep the people of Chicago safe.
To make sure that individuals who are undocumented, who have been charged with, convicted of a crime, it is the federal government's responsibility to do their part and uphold the law. Our local police department, along with our public health department, along with our other sister agencies, are working to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And as we've stated repeatedly, those critical investments, you continue to see the results of those investments as violent crime continues to fall in Chicago. Thank you very much.
First of all, why do these Democrats keep calling illegal aliens, whom are criminals, undocumented? Like, bro, that's silly to me. In addition to that, bro, it's not your job. He's just so arrogant. That's not my job. That's the FBI. Woo, woo. Obviously, right, there are positions and groups within the government that take care of very specific things. But you're the overall overseer as mayor. And the fact that you leave your citizens with responses like this says a lot about you, bro. Says a lot. Mayor Johnson is a failed mayor, man. And in addition to that, we're going to learn about if he's been taking bribes or not. Yeah, bribes. I said bribes or not. And how he's been using this money to fund lavish vacations and things of that nature. Have lavish materialistic items and things of that nature. We're going to cover all that. But before we do y'all believe this? This man had the nerve. Mind you, Tom Homan is on his, but this man, Brandon Johnson, had the nerve to go after Trump. Yeah, he did, y'all. He had the gall.
But here's what I'm getting at. This oversight committee, of all the things that they want to have sight over, they should look at the White House right now. That White House is being ran in one of the most raggedy forms of government that I've ever seen.
Because they out there cleaning up what all these Democrats did, just like they have to clean up what you did, Democrat.
If anybody is questioning whether or not what our country would look like had the Confederacy won, there should be no question now. They want us to be afraid. Do not be afraid, Chicago. Whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, I'm always going to stand up for the interests of working people. And I will not be intimidated by some weak individual who won't stand up to an individual who believes he's a supreme being right now. You're worried about Chicago? Look in your front yard. We have a president right now who is obfuscating his responsibilities that should be very clear based upon the Constitution. He is rejecting the Constitution of the United States of America. And if they want to have a real discussion about undocumented individuals who are criminals, they should look at the very individuals who enslaved my people and colonized this land. So whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, the people of Chicago would not be intimidated or threatened by any individual who is unwilling to look in their own front yard of where the real threat to our democracy lies. Thank you all very much.
These Democrats seem to have learned nothing. Instead, he continues to use fear-mongering tactics and also utilize his race card in this conversation right here. Also making it seem as if Donald Trump is somehow in the White House right now doing any and everything he just wants to do without following the rule of law. Man, these people right here. This guy right here, he needs to go. This type of rhetoric is just dangerous. First of all, then when we talk about, he's talking about how we were colonized here and things of that nature. It's like, my people, we really have to educate ourselves on how all this started. Slavery was not started as a black versus white or a white versus black thing. It started as an economic issue, which was still an issue within itself. We were brought here. We were told that we were brought here by the white man, this, that, and the third, but we actually brought here by the Spanish. Yeah, we was. Look it up. A lot of people don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? But instead, we want to sit here and continue to attack white people this, white people that, because it evolved into black and white in terms of American history. But this guy right here, just to stay back on topic, this guy right here just claiming that Donald Trump and Tom Homan, what they're attempting to do is somehow unlawful. And because Donald Trump is doing everything that he said he was going to do before he got in that office, these Democrats are intimidated by it and terrified. Why, though, is the big question. Why? They're saving some money. Some money is getting ready to be at risk of being lost with them at the hands of Donald Trump coming in and actually cleaning up the government. Anyhow, cleaning up the illegals. I'm sorry. Trump's team, this is an article that was published November of last year. Just because I want y'all to know, Trump he's doing everything he said he was going to do when he got in that office. Trump's team reportedly looking to punish sanctuary cities that block mass deportation. Again, this was November 27th of last year. President-elect Donald Trump's team is reportedly preparing to punish so-called sanctuary cities, which are mostly Democratic-run areas where cooperation with federal immigration officials is often limited. The Washington Post reports that Trump's advisors are discussing how to strip federal resources from those cities if they refuse to take part in mass deportation. So it ain't like this is brand new. Tom Homan says, let me be clear, there's going to be mass deportation because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border. He also said that he's willing to throw Denver Mayor Mike Johnston in jail. Matter of fact, I'm gonna edit this real quick. Tom Homan says he's willing to throw Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson in jail over his protest after mass deportation. Now, I don't remember him doing any protests. I just figured it'd be appropriate to insert that name as well. Now, I'm only reading this article, especially from a left-wing media site, just to prove to you guys that Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Now, again, another reason why Brandon Johnson could be nervous, because not only because Donald Trump is back in office and will be holding him accountable, not only because Tom Homan is in his city doing a better job than he has been doing, but also because he's terrified that if he gets found out about, it could potentially create another dent in his reputation, even his job position. Jamal Green, somebody whom had back and forth with Brandon Johnson, says, I know you're focused on Tiffany Henyard, but Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has been found to have accepted secret lavish gifts to bribe him. Who's the worst mayor? And he has a picture of Dalton, Illinois Mayor Tiffany Henyard, and also your boy Mohawk Johnson. I believe that's what Danielle Carter refers to him as. But it says Hugo Boss cufflinks. He got personalized block pen. I don't know what that is. Gucci tote bag and crossbody bag. Yo, what's up with all these name brands? Now, I got a couple brands that I really like, but like, what's up with the world and just having a Givenchy bag, Kate Spade, red purse, and some other stuff that I don't care about. Both should resign and save the taxpayers. Let's see the sentiment in the comments around this. I mean, this guy has to go. Do y'all agree? Man? Like, he's done more than, oh, look, they got a picture of this man right here with, I mean, we can laugh right now, looking at this, but, it's really not funny, man. Typical socialist, always doing something wrong. She allegedly just stole the money and brought that kind of stuff. Brandon Johnson just has his hands out and allegedly repays with whatever. They both need to go, including, you said that, Prokaiser. Chicago politicians have a long history of corruption. They don't call it the Windy City because of the wind. Ooh, that was some shit right there. Now, I'm finna actually go get me some water. But before I do, I want y'all to watch Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson respond to an Inspector General report released this morning. This was yesterday, actually, or 2 days ago, a few days ago, within the last few days, released this morning showing that his office blocked investigators from accessing a city hall gift room filled with jewelry, luxury handbags, shoes, and alcohol, and failed to properly disclose those gifts.
What do you say to the people of Chicago who might be concerned about who actually gave these gifts? Has anyone who's given these gifts, do they do business with the city? Do they have any contracts, any lobbyists? Is there anyone out there that there would be any kind of conflict whatsoever who's on that log of gift givers?
So let me just do this, and I appreciate the question. Sometimes I'll go to a community function, and someone will give a gift bag full of bracelets like this, for instance, to the city of Chicago, T-shirts. There are people who, give items to the city because, they want the city of Chicago to know, how much they appreciate our commitment to healthcare. I don't want people to think, you all, that there's some room in the city government where there's just a wall full of belts and socks and shoes and fancy hats. Now, there are some people who have given hats, by the way, but I try to keep a good executive posture. With all due respect, you all, sometimes I believe that people chase down a wall with nothing on it. There's a log, it's there, it's been there for years. The only benefit that I get of being mayor of the city of Chicago is I get to see the full breadth of what the greatest freaking city in the world looks like.
Just a brief follow-up. I have a second question, but the Inspector General was calling this a gift room. Can you actually describe?
So you get a full breath. My God, how are you breathing? Like, you should have suffocated if that was the case.
Can you actually describe the areas?
Can I be honest with you? I've never even seen. Can I just be honest with you? No, Craig. It's fine. I've never even seen this room that they're talking about. I literally get up. I get picked up because my wife teases me. Because I'll say, honey, I got to get ready for work. My ride is here. I see this job as an opportunity to serve people who have been ignored in this city for decades. And if, I don't know, I don't think there's a rule. If people want a tour of this room, I'll sign up because I've never been to it myself. So what you're hearing from me is, I don't mean to make light of, this so-called investigation, but quite frankly, it bears very little. It really does. And I appreciate the questions and the inquiry, but I just hope that we stay focused on where the real threat is. It's not a room where people give gifts to the city. It's actually the White House where they're trying to destroy and take things away from people. All right, are there any?
Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? This guy said the White House where they're focused on trying to destroy people. It's funny, man. Trying to do right creates this sort of rhetoric. I'm sorry, let me clear what I'm saying. My mind didn't translate that. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, Tom Homan, trying to do right by saving the American people, or how do I say, by securing the American people, and creating more public safety centered around the border is somehow an attack on you because you don't want to cooperate with the rest of your city, which you're claiming you're listening to. They're telling you what they want and you're completely ignoring it. Then you attack Donald Trump and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm having this moment. I'm trying to figure out, like, why, dude? Like, it's not adding up to me. I don't understand his motive or his reasoning behind wanting to harbor undocumented individuals, as he would put it, but we all know it's really illegal aliens. I'm really having a hard time. And in terms of this whole bribery issue, dog, I mean, you could move your items just like that. You know what I'm saying? If you've been blocking access to them this whole time, right after that, you can leave that meeting like, hey, make sure y'all remove everything out of there. You know what I mean? Before he come through with this, that, and the third. It's like, this guy's scum, bro. I'm sorry. He just real scum behavior. You're just coming out here. You're not even talking about, it's not my job to pretty much say, keep the Chicagoans protected, such an arrogant way. Then try to make it seem like Donald Trump is somehow frivolously chasing down these illegals out of his city, then not even want to show corroboration, and then also acting like Donald Trump is on some sort of random rampage. And I prove to you that this is something that he's been talking about doing even outside of Chicago. Even Tom Homan. George posted breaking a Chicago. Now this is y'all can tell I'm over here feeling very passionate about this topic right now. Got family in Chicago. I mean, Chicago is literally like a second home to me, man. But I'm gonna play y'all this clip because I kind of veered off, got a little bit too invested. But I wanted to show y'all again, just proof that, Johnson, you're not listening to your people or listening to the world. I'm sorry, to Americans. I just showed you an article where Trump said that he was going to do this. Tom Homan also said that he was going to uphold that. Now I'm going to show you a clip of a woman, Chicago woman, who told Brandon Johnson to his face that he will be arrested by President Trump for harboring and protecting illegals from deportation units. He's not listening.
Now let's get down to Tom Homan and 8 USC 1324. Different editions of 1994, 2020, 2021, and 2022 about you harvesting aliens. And you so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens. We are the ones who pay your salaries. Salaries! Let me accentuate on that. But yet, you want to overlook us like we don't exist. Well, you're not going to exist for the next election because there's a 10-year prison sentence when you want to stand up here for those illegals. Now, let's get down to Tom Homan.
So remember how he said he wanted to, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of realizing that he gets to see pretty much the full realization of Chicago and how it's the best city and things of that nature, and pretty much insinuating how he's listening to the people or whatever the case. This right here just proved that you're not, bro. You're not. Mayor Johnson would do so much better today. We won't be able to save his reputation, but he can minimize some of the damage just by coming out and going, you know what? I was wrong. My idea of trying to save the illegals was for XYZ, but I was wrong. I haven't been listening to the Chicagoans and everybody who come to these city hall meetings on a regular basis and look me in my face and tell me that this is not what I want. You know what I mean? Instead of walking around trying to preach to these people like, oh, this is what we want this here. The people there, we're cool with this. Pretty much is how he's insinuating this, man. Dog, bro. Annoying. Now, this is Tom Homan right here. This was in December of last year to prove to you that they are not random, that they are not raggedy in that White House. They're actually very focused. Hold on, let me turn the volume up. I should have had it prepared, but let me turn the volume up for y'all.
It impedes us. If he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute. Yes.
And while Homan says there are no plans for family separation, President Trump's immigration surrogate offered this blunt take.
You need to take the child home with you. It impedes us. If you know.
Yep. And that's exactly what they've been doing. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be able to sleep well at night. My ego wouldn't be able to sleep well at night if I'm the mayor of a city and then this guy gets in office and he puts in place Tom Homan to be the director of ICE. And then he comes to my city. And in one day, he accomplishes something I couldn't accomplish. How long was he say was there? Since 2009? Well, almost what? Yeah, over 10 years. Well, he wasn't in office for over 10 years, but you know, he couldn't accomplish that in at least a year. Let's just put it like that. At least a year. Says a lot, man. Says a lot. Obviously, you see a comment right here. Looking forward to seeing all this go down. And thank God we are seeing it all go down. Now, I want to report on something that's very unfortunate as a result of Brandon Johnson not listening to the people of Chicago. Two illegals from Venezuela and Ecuador were arrested in Chicago after they reportedly beat a 63-year-old man to death in his own home. One of the illegals was arrested just weeks earlier for luring a minor, but subsequently released. Sanctuary cities are protecting these criminal illegal aliens. Americans are paying the price.
Details tonight on the men connected to a homicide involving a 63-year-old man on the northwest side. And that includes one of them having a recent run-in with police. WGN's Dana Rebick is joining us live with the latest on this investigation. Dana?
I drive past and I walk past that house all the time. So it's kind of nerve-wracking now that something happens that close to the house.
Neighbors shaken after the murder of 63-year-old George Levin, who lived in this home in the 7600 block of West Talcott Avenue in Norwood Park. Our Chicago police sources tonight confirming they now have arrested two men who are in custody. Both are migrants from Venezuela and Ecuador, one we know in his early 20s. One of the suspects found at a home in Logan Square, the other in Norwood Park, about a mile and a half from the crime scene.
One victim in the basement unit. His arms tied with a duct tape, legs with a extension cord.
Officers responded to the victim's home around 11 p.m. Sunday night. Levin was unresponsive, found bound with duct tape and an extension cord.
In the basement. His sister found him.
According to the Chicago Tribune, Levin had been beaten and his keys, wallet, and cell phone were missing. After an autopsy, the Cook County medical examiner found Levin had died of multiple injuries, ruling his death a homicide.
I'm actually very shocked. Ever since the violence in Chicago's kind of been creeping up, we've been more alert, aware. We've got security cameras everywhere. Our neighbors also tend to be very cautious as well, just because you never know.
Chicago police tell us that one of these suspects was recently arrested on January 12th in a child luring case involving two teenage girls, but we're told those charges were downgraded. Reporting live at the 16th Police District, Dana Rebick, WGN News.
What is going on in Chicago? That just broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie. That just really broke my heart, man. Family is everything to us, you know? And the fact that, I don't know, somebody's brother, somebody's father, somebody's grandfather, somebody's boyfriend, husband, somebody's coworker. I'm not saying that all crime can be prevented. I'm not going to say and try to make no wild claim like that. But to know that there's a way to limit or somehow prevent a multitude of crimes from happening and you still choose to allow it, that creates blood on your hands, in my opinion. All these Democrats are responsible whom allow for this, these illegals to be able to come in and do this. Yeah, y'all got blood on your hands, man.